he's in there fighting. Boris knows how to win. That's what he says about Mr. Johnson. But yeah, we do have a lot of stories to get onto, so we have to move on to the White House. What are they doing over there? Oh no. With Hurricane Dorian sweeping up the eastern seaboard, President Donald Trump gave a brief update on the storm's progress on Wednesday, in which he hauled out a nearly week-old graphic in an effort to justify his initial and totally incorrect claim that Dorian was headed for Alabama, if you remember that. He said they're from Alabama. The National Weather Service was like, no, it's not headed for Alabama. People in Alabama don't freak out. It's like, yeah. Taylor Bassett on Twitter and many others quickly pointed out Trump's graphic seems to have been altered slightly. Based on the way it was, really based on the way it worked. So, pretty much what they did is, it says August 29th, 2019, 11 a.m. This is when this was originally printed. It's the advisory 24, whatever that is. So, yeah, there's also a strange black circle that kind of moves into Alabama. So they have the map, a week-old map that he brought out today, pointed towards Florida. There's kind of a bubble around Florida that's real. That doesn't seem to be really altered in any way. But then there's just this random black circle that goes to Alabama. That's not there on the actual map. That was clearly altered. But he also kind of shaped the circle a little bit weirdly, too. But yeah, like, did some White House staffer just take a black Sharpie to the original chart and draw an extra circle to encompass Alabama? I mean, probably. So yeah, a reporter asked Trump, according to Felicia Somez, of the Washington Post. A reporter just now asks about the map Trump showed in the Oval Office today, which looked like the president may have used a Sharpie to draw a circle to intersect Alabama. Trump doesn't say no. I don't know, he says. Just like, what? What in the world? Dennis Mensaru pointed out falsifying National Weather Service forecasts also can be a federal crime. So that is quite something. They just commit a federal crime. Wow. That's a real one. Jeez. Anyway, guys, a little bit. Our faves are feuding, guys. We hate it. No, Dan Crenshaw sucks. Eye patch. The eye patch man. If you don't know who he is. While the overwhelming majority of Americans favor guns, common sense gun legislation, and such as instituting universal background checks before someone can own a firearm, Texas Republican Representative Dan Crenshaw has a problem with that idea, namely that it would stop him lending out pistols to his friends, which we love doing. On Tuesday, Crenshaw is a noted gun enthusiast who enjoys hearty backing from the NRA. Shared a news story about Houston resident Lachelle Hudgens, who suspected a robber. Who shot a suspected robber she was reaching. She said was reaching for her purse, writing on Twitter that with universal background checks, I wouldn't be able to let my friends borrow my handgun when they travel alone like this. So Dan Crenshaw responds that situations like this are why we protect the Second Amendment. Side note, with universal background checks, I wouldn't be able to let my friends borrow my handgun when they travel alone like this. We would make felons out of people just for defending themselves. So again, the likelihood, I think, that any of Dan Crenshaw's friends are going to get shot is ridiculous. It's really, really, really ridiculous. But they probably, I don't think that any felons are going to come after them in a Suburban or whatever like that. Like when they're in their Suburbans and with their families. Like I don't think he's got many people that he knows out on the streets. Like I feel like he's like his friends like text him, his friend Bob like texts him or Mike or whatever, some like fat white Texas name. Like just like, I'm going for an hour drive up to the resort. Can I have your handgun, please, Mr. Crenshaw? Like that's, I feel like that's what's going on there. Crenshaw did not expand to whom and under what circumstances. He apparently just handed out guns to this is random people. In the meantime, Crenshaw's assertion that letting people friends borrow his guns is a good thing drew attention to the representative of New York Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, who responded to Crenshaw's tweet by asking the obvious question, why are you lending guns to people unsupervised who can't pass a basic background check? The people are giving a gun to have likely abused their spouse. I wouldn't say likely there, though, because maybe they haven't. Like, you can't just attack the guy's friends. Likely abuse their spouse and maybe have a violent criminal record, and you may not know it. Why on earth would you do that? I mean, again, it's most likely that they didn't, hopefully, abuse their spouse or committing violent crimes. But domestic violence is one of the most common factors in gun violence in America. That's an important point there. And the federal law barring abusers from owning firearms is rife with easily exploited loopholes, but Crenshaw and AOC have begun to mix it up after that. So he says, just so I'm clear, you think my friends are domestic abusers and criminals? Seriously, that's your argument? That they can't pass a background check? Wrong. People lend guns to friends, especially if they don't own a gun for self-defense and hunting purposes. Again, like, hopefully, but again, what if your friend gives it to another friend who gives it to another friend? Like, there's so many bad things that could happen there. Lending guns to friends, not always the best idea. Again, hunting, like, I feel like I personally would never hunt, I mean, I'm not the hunting person, I just don't like killing animals. I almost literally cracked my mom's head open stopping for a squirrel, like, on the road today. But, like, you kind of get, I'm much more of an animal protectionist, but again, I get people who gotta hunt. Like, no one needs to hunt for food. We're not hunter-gatherers anymore. Hunting, killing animals, I guess it's fun. Probably not the best thing to be doing. Like, poaching, trophy hunting, absolutely. I am totally against that under any circumstances. Like, that's just, to me, it's just wrong in every way, shape, or form. But again, like, and if you do want to hunt, I think it's got to be heavily, in my opinion, it's got to be heavily regulated. But again, he says, this is America outside NYC. She says, you said with universal background checks, you wouldn't be able to lend guns to friends. If a background check would be a problem, then you shouldn't lend a gun. And by the way, you said you said, sorry, I'm going to start over here. You said with universal background checks, you wouldn't be able to lend guns to friends. If a background check would be a problem, then you shouldn't lend them a gun. Like, background checks, like, it's not even stopping you, because your friends that are supposedly great people could pass a background check. Like, that's a good point that she says there, by the way. Like, without, like, if you go back to the first tweet, she's like, guys, with universal background checks, I would not be able to let my friends borrow my handgun when they travel alone like this. Like, just have them do a background check. Like, seriously. Like, it's not that hard, and it's, like, literally one of the bare minimums. And by the way, New York is one of the safest, in the areas and states in the country when it comes to guns, including rural areas. Try to keep up. So, again, probably much better, much better way of putting it. There from AOC, better than calling her friends, his friends, like, domestic abusers. But again, it's like, dude, a background check, not that hard, folks. It's easy. So, mandatory.com. We're talking about mandatory.com now. It features, and this is, again, for a segment, literally the worst boss of the year award. Mandatory.com is a website that features, quote, funny stuff, viral videos, must-read features, and a whole lot of awesome. Let's go. Yes, according to its Twitter bio. I love a whole lot of awesome. It also allegedly features wage theft and retaliation against its workers, as in firing them. On Wednesday, Donna Dickens, who edited for Mandatory's film and TV channel, Coming Soon, posted on Twitter she'd been fired in the company-wide Slack channel by Mandatory Vice President Anthony Severino. This is pretty much, like, I feel like this is like a website that, like, gets recommended on the side of a slightly less sketch website. Like, you'll never believe what that child actor looks like now. I feel like it's one of those kind of content farm things. I believe it's literally what it's called. Yeah, so asking why she had been paid, this is the woman, Donna Dickens. She asked Mandatory Vice President Anthony Severino. She said why she was trying to ask why she hadn't been paid for work she had completed for the company. Mandatory, which quote unquote aims to inspire and inform today's young male itself, is a subsidiary of Evolve Media, which also knows a network called Totally Her. So, fun fact there. According to emails obtained by Splinter News and written up from the legend Paul Blessed, Coming Soon executive editor Spencer Perry emailed the staff of Coming Soon, which Dickens told Splinter is all freelance, last Friday to inform them that their payments, including Perry's, would not be arriving on time. On Tuesday, another email came explaining the delay was apparently due to a finance team moving into a new office. So, okay. On Wednesday morning, yet another email came saying the payments would be delayed into the next week. Yeah. This is quite an obnoxious quote from Spencer Perry. Kind of embarrassing that he shares my name. Frankly, I'm not sure what else to say beyond I apologize. Even though this isn't something I caused or can fix, I don't have anything else to offer, but if you'd like to speak to my superior about the situation, I can give you his contact information if you wish. This is not an awesome place for any of us to be in. If you'd like to discuss it, my door is open either here or on Slack. So Slack, if you don't know, it's a channel. It's pretty much a massive channel where people who work in the same company could come talk together, like do separate pod. Like it's pretty much a big work text app, is what it is. You can get on your computer, or whatever. But it is kind of insane that he's just like, guys, don't blame me that you're not getting paid. Like, it's not my fault. Like, it just sucks. Like, I hate it as much as you do, even though I'm getting paid. Like, it's totally cool. Like, what an asshole. Yeah, so what was Donna Dickens' response on this? She took her complaints to the company-wide Slack channel where Severino unceremoniously fired her for asking. So, yeah, this is her Twitter account saying, this is her in the Slack saying, "Hi at Donna." This is again company wide here. "Hi at Donna. I completely understand your frustration, but venting here isn't going to help." She responds, "Oh yes, it is. In the future, please contact your manager, and they will get them in touch with me." And then, okay, you're fired. Like, was everyone's paycheck delayed at Anthony Severino? Because it sounds like you're firing me for asking about my paycheck. ? Screenshot, thanks. So it's pretty much what it's going on. So, yeah. Again, this is a good summation of what's going on here. Please note that I was fired in a company-wide Slack for asking why our paychecks were delayed again, and others were starting to realize not everyone's paycheck was delayed. Sketchy AF. And then with a pretty fair post, F you, pay me. Like it's, I would say so. Later on Twitter, Severino posted screenshots leading up to the exchange, which showed Dickens asking for an explanation as to why the payments were late. Severino described it as "quote unquote" making a stink in the company-wide channel. Like that's something that if you're a normal person, you understand people making a stink over. It's not like, oh, who stole my lunch or whatever out of this company freezer or whatever the heck it is. It's like, that is literally how you get paid. Like, that's the crazy part. Coming Soon writer Christian Long was later fired by Severino as well, apparently for not reaching out to Severino via his preferred platform. He came into the Slack channel and started trying to talk down to people like he's the king S of some F mountain, saying we were insubordinate or whatever. Long told Splinter via phone. I thought, what the hell? I'm not going to let a guy who pays me pennies talk down to me. Yes, this is yet another anonymous former employee from this company. I was in a position of power for months, hired to a new editorial direction that was aimed at Gen Z, so I brought in writers, needless to say. It eventually developed into, we're not paying these people, use these content farms in the Philippines to make listicles for pennies a day. The new editorial pretty much stopped before it even started. A week or so before I was unceremoniously fired, Anthony called me to talk about using only essential staff. I was also hiring A hearing from my freelancers about slow payment, so it was dire. Surprise, this call is to actually let you know we can't afford to pay you anymore, effective immediately. It's also the 27th.